Hi, welcome back to the Jeepster build. Today I am doing some more mild customizing. So it's a shame this door was finished and because I just can't live with that, it just needed to be a little bit better. The gaps were just way too bad on these two corners. If you see something like that, it just draws your attention to something negative. I want everything to be nice, positive, flowing lines. So you can see now what I was working on. There was a big, huge gap right here, and there was a big, huge gap right here. And the door on the other side, somebody had been grinding on this so much that it was just paper thin. And when I sanded it down to prep it to weld, it just came apart. It was like tissue paper. So that definitely needed to be done on the other side. And while I was at it, I figured I might as well grind away this filler, and then I'm going to have to go back. But I do need to grind that down just a little bit. I tightened it up a little too much. But just these gaps now on the door and the alignment of the trim, it's just perfect. I'm back to working on the latch mechanism on the doors. I've got everything all finished up as it pertains to the little bear claw latches, but I need to release this latch. And so I've been doing research, trying to figure out what's the best way to release these. The original latch that was right here, little pull handle, they're not the most attractive handle, and it has that old 1950s look. And the travel on this latch to release it, it's just a tiny amount. So to have the latch and the way the mechanism worked and the way the original latch worked, the handle pretty much had to be pointing upwards or downwards for cosmetic reasons. But if it was pointing downwards cosmetically, then you'd push it forward to release the latch. It wasn't working for me. So since that was a complete set, the original latches and the original handle was in really good shape, I sold those and I used the money to buy this. This is a door release handle for a 32 Ford Roadster. And it comes with this little slide bracket for opening that up. And how it works is it has to be mounted sideways to work this way. And so that didn't really work anywhere but right here. And it just so happens that's the right length for the actual bracket that comes with the kit. So I needed to make up a way to attach it. I have this piece of channel that will go on the back side of this, and then this can mount on the edge of that channel, and then it can work this way. And it is a hair trigger. I mean, it does not take much at all to release that lever. So this is going to work out nicely. There's a brace right here that I have to clear, so I need to stop about right here underneath. There's nothing on this side. There's no window mechanism. It doesn't have a window. So it's really quite simple. This will just mount about right here on the back side. You can drill a hole here, drill a hole here, but I can't get to the back side of this to bolt anything on. So I need to weld on nuts. So I'll be welding on some nuts on the inside. and then I can just bolt down through. Same thing with this edge. For the actual latch mechanism, I need to weld some nuts on the back side of that as well. Let me get my grinder out, grind this paint off, and I'll start welding. Well, that gives me the nut placement, and I've got it grounded off. I've got them just tight enough that I can go ahead and weld these in place, and then I still need to create one more. I've got this rigged up now to release. Part of getting all of this into place, I have to attach it to this end as well. Okay, now to test it out. Ha! Beautiful. It's not pulling it back down to release because everything's really tight. So I need to add a spring. Now, perfect. And that should give me just enough clearance with the upholstery. Awesome. Okay, with this done now, I think this is the last of the fab work that I have on this. Now it's just sanding. Need to sand this paint and get it ready for primer. I want to clean up the inside of this. It's got some undercoating on it. I want to put a little bit more undercoating in here. I've got some sheet adhesive type that I can kind of take the tinny sound out and quiet it down. And then I can get it mounted back on and start doing the body work. This side of the Jeepster, I've pretty much got all of the body work finished. All the metal work is done, all the filler is in, it's ready for primer. I haven't done anything on the other side. So in an upcoming video, I'm going to show you this in detail, and then I'll jump onto the other side and show you how I did it. Gaps are perfect, panels are perfectly flat, and now I need to get all the little minor details straightened out before I do move on to primer, because if I have to start making some adjustments, and especially this area right here, I don't have it perfected yet. And the main reason is because of this little teeny piece of trim. You wouldn't believe how difficult this little piece of trim was to find. When this Jeepster was in Oregon, when it was pulled out of storage, a lot of these pieces were all intact. The car was basically 100% all together. And guy in southern Utah bought this and decided to flip it. Well, when he flipped it, he kept a lot of these very difficult to find pieces. This piece I finally found on eBay. It was crushed, mangled, flattened, $75. So sometimes you just gotta take what you get. You can see I've been forming it, I've been playing with it, massaging it, smoothing it. I've got the shape about where I want it, and I'm able to use it with the piece that it ties into and match it up to the actual door piece so I can get the shape right And now I need to get the panel right. So where this mounts to the panel, most of the Jeepsters I've seen, there's a big huge gap right here between the windshield and the side of the cowl. And the way mine sits right now, I lengthened this windshield pillar and I still didn't go far enough. So I need to weld more in this area, and then I need to finish this piece. I just kind of roughed it in, filler-wise. So I need to finish that up, and then I need to make sure it's perfectly aligned. I've adjusted this door so this trim matches perfectly with this trim. It was off. The way this car was original, these just didn't line up. By the time you got the latch and the hinges and the door gaps, it was very difficult to get these to line up. You get these to line up and then everything else went out of whack. Well, I've got that all perfected now. So, just as I suspected, it's way too high. By the time I lower it down, then you're going to see this gap. And it's pretty common for these cars. I see a lot of that where this trim is on high and straight to cover up that gap. So with that in mind, this has all got to come off. And fortunately, this does come off. So then I can grind down this filler, which I did build it up high intentionally so that I would be able to line everything up. And now it's just a matter of grinding it down. And then I've got to change this contour. I split this and pulled it down and welded it back in quite a bit, probably 1/4 of an inch, and I still need to go probably another 1/8. So yeah, it's amazing just how far off that was. All right, well, since I'm pretty much done with this side now, I need to take this windshield off and finish up this corner. But before I do that, I want to finish the other side. And one of the things I found out is I got this side all done, and then I'm standing out in front of the car and I'm making sure all the nose is straight before I start doing the body work on the other side, and I noticed the car's leaning. Well, it was perfectly level when I put it here. God, it's been a long time, 6 months, 8 months. As it's been sitting and I put more and more parts on the car, engine bay, radiator, things that way, the car has settled on me on that front corner. About 1 inch. I was really surprised. So it's just the coilover springs, I guess with a little bit of age, it's kind of settled in. I've wiggled the car. I got it where I think everything is settled now. They are adjustable, so I adjusted that corner back up. And I will be able to get this car all perfectly level again. I want to get it up on stands so I can get it up higher to work on. I was able to do this down on this piece of carpet on my knees, but if I can get this elevated up higher, it's going to make things a whole lot easier to do that other side. So in the next video, I'll walk around this side of it and show you what the bodywork should look like, and then I'll go to the other side and I'll show you how I actually accomplish this. Setting these gaps, it's kind of funny because I set the door gaps on this with the car leaning and I didn't realize it. So as soon as I got the car all up level, this door didn't fit anymore. So I had to readjust this door, and fortunately it still fits. It just needed to be adjusted. So I will do that in the next video. I just got a whole lot of cleaning to do, and then I can get this turned around and get it leveled up, get back to work. All right, thanks for watching. Goodbye for now.